Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a tutorial on making a little mini Christmas album out of this supplies set that I received from Papercraft Creations as a design team package. This is a design team project. I'm calling it a Christmas in July mini album. It's not a special event, it's just this project that I'm working on, and I'll go over all the supplies with you in just a few minutes. This is going to be the tutorial, and then we'll have the finished album at the end, so just follow along if you want to see what it looks like. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click on the bell when you do so that you can get notifications of all my uploads. And also, as you're watching, if you have a chance, give me a thumbs up, like. I appreciate it so much. So let's get started on this tutorial. For this mini album, I will be using the Simple Stories card kit Holiday Hellos that I got in my design team package. I'm going to be making the album out of that. I will also be using 3 sheets, or I have 3 sheets to use. I don't know if I'll use it all, of the My Colors in Limelight, Daredevil Red, and Parrot. Also, you will need to use heavyweight chipboard. I'm going to use 1 sheet. Then I'm going to use this red seam binding ribbon, this green ribbon, and also the parrot green jute yarn, the enamel dots, Cartabella's Hello Christmas, and the Buttons Galore I Love Snow buttons, which I will probably recolor. You will also need to, the pages are going to be made out of the card base in your kit, but you're going to need 1 sheet of white cardstock for hinges. I don't have that here in front of me, but I'm going to be using that. This is the prototype album that I made. You will also need 2 sheets of cardstock to wrap your album and create your cover. So I don't have that in front of me. I'll decide what color I'm going to use, or you can use the My Color. So that's something that I may be going to do with mine. And so this is the prototype of the base of the album with the card bases as your pages. And you do need, like I said, a sheet of, it can be 8.5 by 11. It doesn't have to be real heavy cardstock for your hinges. I'm going to be using cardstock that's about the same weight as my card bases in the kit. So I'll just pull that out of my card making stash. So that's the supplies, and let's get started on this tutorial. So the first thing we need to do is make our album cover. It's going to look like this when it's done. This is the prototype one that I made. So you need to cut out of 1 sheet of 12 by 12 heavyweight chipboard. It needs to be the heavier one. You need, and if you have scraps in your stash of chipboard, you wouldn't have to go into a full one, because it actually, you can cut this out of a half a sheet of the 12 by 12. But anyway, you need 2 that are 4.5 by 6 for the cover, and for the spine you need 1 that is 2 and 1/8 by 6. Then for your wrapping of your covers, you need 2 pieces, and I'm using the green My Colors in the Parrot. I've never wrapped with My Colors, so we're going to see how that works. You need 2 that are 6.5 by 8, and 1 that is 5.1/8 by 8. And then for the inside support piece, support inside there, you need 1 that is 6.75 by 6. And then score tape sheet to match that size, 6.75 by 6. I had to piece mine, so mine are 6.75 wide and by 5.1. So I'm going to go ahead and put my album cover together off camera. I will link my video, that I have a separate video on how to do the lay flat method of album cover. See the link up there? Just click on that. I'll also put it down below where it says more under the video. Just go over to that video. If you don't know how to make a lay flat album cover, follow that tutorial using these sizes. And then once you have it done, we'll come back here and we'll start making the pages for this album. Okay, so I have my album cover assembled and wrapped and I really like how it turned out in this textured My Colors paper. I love the color. I think I gave you the wrong color earlier. It is parrot green. This is the parrot green in My Colors, and I'll have it linked down below, the correct color. Anyway, so with this older collection here that I got in the design team package, the only thing available was the card kit. So that meant I didn't have any papers that pattern papers that would go with this, except for what comes with this for card bases. So I went through my stash of my older Simple Story collections, and I did come up with a couple of pieces that have colors that would work. So you need to check yours if you're wanting pattern paper. I was going to put this on the cover, and then I decided, no, I'm going to go ahead and do what I initially planned on doing. So this is the Limelight card, My Colors. So I'm going to put this right here on the front and the back. And then I am going to use this little piece on my spine to kind of break that up. So these, I've got two pieces that are 4 3/8 wide by 5 and 7/8 tall. Sorry, yes, 5 and 7/8 tall to have an 1/8 of an inch border around it. And then this one, I left it at the 2 1/8 by the 5 and 7/8 because with the lay flat album cover, you need a little bit more of your pattern paper here in this section. So I'm going to lay this flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of these elements in little chipboard pieces to decorate the front of my cover. Now, okay, so I am using my art glitter glue with this new glue tip on it, and I do have a separate video. This is not something available from Country Craft Creations, but I do have a separate video on my channel that gives you more information about that. So I'm trying it out to see how I like it. So I just squeeze on it to get it started good. And I'm making sure that I have my patterned, the texture of my colors going to the finished side. Okay, so lay this on. Give me about 1/16 of an inch border all the way around because I cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller. Okay, so that's the front. Burnish that on really good. Then I'm going to slide it over. I'm going to go ahead and put this piece on the spine. So what I like about this glue cap is it's silicone, and I can use it to spread glue around. I seem to have less glue leaking out. So far, I like that. We'll see how it keeps working as the glue gets a little thicker in there. So burnish this one down. And then the last one on the back, right here. Now on the inside, I think I am going to use this pattern or the striped paper. So again, look in your stash. That is the striped pattern paper is not available for this collection because it was from last Christmas season. But you can look Simple Stories if you have even other brands. If you have, similar colors, they will work and look really nice on there. So burnish this back one on, especially here on the corners. Make sure everything's burnished on good. So that's the outside cover of the album. Of course, we'll put the little elements here on the front. And flip this over, and I'm going to go ahead and I cut this the same size. So these are the 4 3/8 wide by 5 7/8 tall. And I'm not doing any inking on my papers for this project. You can ink if you want. Inking is totally personal preference, whether you like it or want it or however you want to do on yours. Okay. This is going to be the inside. Okay, now for here in this section, I did go ahead and cut it a little bit smaller so I would have more of the green showing. So this one I cut at 2 inches wide by the 5 7/8 tall. Okay. And that's the inside. Okay, so close it just like that. Burnish this really well back here so we don't see any glue showing. It's going to have elements glued onto the front, so it should be fine once it dries out. Okay. Now then, here on the front, now what I did is if you look at your, well, I just looked at, not the directions, I just looked at the front cover here, and I really liked this arrangement on this card. So I went through and found all of these elements for this cover. So I'm just going to arrange these. I'm going to put him there, but I'm going to put these on first. So we're going to glue this on. So that gives you some ideas. You just look at it. If you see one you like and that's what you want on your cover, that's what's going to work perfectly. So this is going to go kind of here with his hat. Then we have this one down here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Santa on. And if you wanted to lift it up with some foam dots, you could. I'm just going to glue mine on. Kind of keeping the cover sort of flat. Just like that. We've got this little bit here. It's going to kind of glue right in there. And then we have the Make It Merry, and then I had a little bit of more holly, so I've got this one here. That's a chipboard. Let's see what I punched out. Did I punch some of them out? The one that's not so thick, if I can find it right quick. There they are. And then there was also the ho 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 down there. That's cute. Okay, so let's grab, what was I looking for? Yeah, this one. And these just punch right out. So this is going to kind of go here. So like where they have it right there. And the ho 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 is chipboard, so it's going to be raised up just a little bit. Just put glue on the back. So this is really simple, quick, and fun. Okay, Make It Merry. And let's see what that ho 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 is. If it's a paper punch out. Oh, did I punch it out of the chipboard? See it as a paper punch out. So what we're going to do next is make the pages out of the card bases. There it is. Ho 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 is a chipboard piece. So that can go right there. Okay, I like that. I like that with the two colors of the green. It's more green than you see in my camera. It kind of looks yellow, so don't worry about that. It is a green color like what's in the paper collection. So there's our cover. We can set that aside. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to add my ribbon closure. So I'll do something else. I'll do a punch. I will punch. I was going to wrap a seam binding around it. That's okay. I'm going to get that put on there, and it'll be just fine with a eyelet. We can do that, and I'll show you that later on. So let's set that aside, and we'll get started on our pages. For our pages, we're going to need 3 little hinges. And I was going to make it out of a scrap of white cardstock from my stash, but I think I'm going to go ahead and make it with one of the pieces that I punched out from the card collection. So I'm going to use this one that's got this direction like this because I feel like I'll be able to use it better for the hinges. So we need, so they're going to go this way though. And that's what's going to show in the book. No, I could use that on a card. Let's go. I'm going to use this one because I need that direction. So sorry about that. So let's see what we've got. We've got 5.5 is what we need. And that is what these pieces are. So 5.5 is the height. And we need 3 that are 1 3/8 wide. So we're going to cut 1. Hope we have enough here. I didn't even think about that. 3/8. Yeah, we're doing good. It's a little short, but it's going to work. Well, it shouldn't be short. 1 3/8. Let me see here. 1 3/8 right there. Yeah. Just going to cut a little bit off, a little smidge. So we have 3 out of that one piece of paper, and that's great. Now I'm going to switch this so that I can score. Pay attention to this sharp blade. Put that way up there at the top. Got my little scoring here thing here. So I'm going to put this in like this. This is on this trimmer. If you're using the bigger trimmer, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on from each side. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch here. And then I'm going to flip it all the way around and do another 1/2 inch on the other side. And we're scoring on the long ways so that you're scoring on your 1 3/8 side. That's going to give me a 1/2 inch on my hinge and a 3/8 inch gusset space in there. So score again at a 1/2 inch on one long side, turn, score at a 1/2 inch again. Do the same one on the third one. Okay, so 1/2 inch, turn, and score at a 1/2 inch. So these are going to be our hinges. If you want them to be a little stronger, then I would suggest the cardstock. But this paper seems to be really pretty thick, and so I'm good with that. It doesn't crack when I score it. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish all the folds and get my little hinges ready here. Just like that. These are going to be what we put our pages into our cover, and also how we're going to put our pages together. So just fold on that score line and burnish each one. Okay. Now then, we're going to use 4 of these card bases for our pages. The other 4 will become flaps and pockets. So you set those aside. So I need 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're pretty thick. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these guys and burnish them too. Fold them in half. They're already pre-scored for you because this is a card kit. Now I just need to make sure when I'm folding these, that these are going to be lined up square. You want to make sure you're doing that. I kind of hit that one off a little bit, but now it's better. Okay, so I think if you fold into the bump, it's going to work better for you. Now, if you don't have a card kit and you're wanting to make this little album, you of course would cut these down to, you would need 4 pieces that are 8.5 by 5.5, and you would score your 8.5-inch side at 4 1/4. Same as making a card base. You would make you some 4 card bases out of cardstock to make this little album if you don't have the card kit. So you can certainly do that. Okay, so go ahead and get these all ready to go. Okay, so we have our first page here. We need to attach this hinge to the back side. If I look at my prototype, I have the single fold here, and then I have my hinge back here. So I'm going to flatten this so that I just see the back side of my hinge, which for this one, it's easy to show you because this is the pattern side. This is what you're going to see. This is what's going to be glued. Okay, so I'm taking my glue. Make sure I've got it going. I may have to fill my glue bottle some more. Okay, and put my glue on my hinge. And just kind of rub it around. And we're going to line this up, the fold of that 1/2 inch right along the fold of this card base. Just like that. So make sure they're lining up height wise and also along the fold. So you might have to move it just a smidge and then go ahead and open that up and then burnish that down. So that's one attached there. So the next one, we're going to attach another card. This time we're going to flatten this side, take another card here, and again the fold of the card is going to go along the fold of the hinge on the back side. And we're going to put all 4 of these pages together this way. So line them up, make sure you're getting it, the fold of that card along the fold of that hinge. Here we go, and lined up end to end also. Burnish that down. So now when we open this up, we've got 2 page sets attached like that, 2 card bases with a hinge in the center. Okay, so now we take our next one. We're going to flatten this down. So it kind of will end up looking like a waterfall as we're going along. So flatten this down. I'm going to take my another hinge, flatten it down so I just see the 1/2 inch. And I'm going to pay attention to my direction on my pattern paper. So that's where my tree is. So let's make sure we've got the trees going the right direction. So this is this side here. Okay. Put your glue on. Line it up. Burnish that down so this way the direction of my little trees are all going the same way. So flatten this down. We put another card on there, so we're going to put glue. Card base, the fold of the card to the fold of the hinge. Burnish that down. Okay, so again, when we open it up, we have a 3/8 inch space in there, and we have our pages. So see your space there between there, and it's just like that. So we have one more to go. Flatten this down. Take your hinge, make sure it's going to go the right direction. Glue on the back of the 1/2 inch section of the hinge. Fold of the hinge lines up to the fold of the card base. Finish that in. Flatten this one now. And this one's going to go right there. I hope it's not too confusing for you. Fold of this last card is going to go right along the fold of this little hinge. Line it up and burnish. So you see it kind of looks like a waterfall like that. But then when we open it up, make sure these are burnished in good. We have the hinges with the spaces. Okay. There we go, just like that. So that are the pages put together. So next what we'll do is add some extra flaps made out of these other card bases and pockets. We have our 4 pages together. We're going to set that aside for just a bit. We're going to take one of the other remaining card bases. So you open up your card base, put your cut your 8.5 inch side down to 7 3/4 to get this piece like that. Okay, so you can save this. I don't know if we'll need that. We're going to flip this back if you're using this scoreboard, and we're going to take this and put it so that you're scoring a 1/2 inch on your 7 3/4 inch side, but you want your score mark to be in the widest section of your card base. So put this in here, score it at a 1/2 inch. If you're using a regular scoreboard or the bigger one, put your 7 3/4 in at the top, score at a 1/2 inch here on your left side in the widest section. You see that? You want your score line over here. So you have your score line and then your fold, and you've got the short piece here. So that's going to make us a flap. So let's put that on one of our pages. Grab the page set, go ahead and fold your score lines and burnish. So we have a 1/2 inch hinge here, and this folds up like this. We're going to open up our first page. So we have a flat piece here, and in here where the hinge is, this is where we're going to put this flap. Okay, so we keep this like a flap here. We open up to the hinge part, and then we're going to glue, except we're going to flip this back the other way. We're going to glue this so that, well, our hinge, okay, that's right. So fold it, so your hinge is here on the left. This will fold to the inside. So we're going to put this right here on this page. I'm going to turn it, grab my glue bottle, I'm going to put glue on this 1/2 inch here. There, just like that. On this one flap here, with the hinge here in the center, you put your 1/2 inch right along the edge of your card base here. And then burnish that in. So that when we fold it up, we're going to have on this first page, page set 1, we have the regular fold of the card, and this folds back. Now we have this one here that fits in. I made it shorter here so it doesn't go into the fold of the hinge, and then it opens up, and it opens up like that. So that's that side. I'm going to use a paper clip to kind of hold it down for right now to keep it out of my way. I'm going to add a vertical pocket here on the front side of page set 2. So we're going to take another card base. On our 8.5 inch side here, we're going to trim or cut down. We're going to cut off 2.5 inches. So that's going to make us cutting it at, since it's 8.5, we're going to cut it down to 6. So it's 8.5 side. We're going to cut it down to 6 inches to get us a 2.5 inch piece. Okay, so we have that. Set this aside for a minute. We're going to score this piece at 1/2 inch on the 2.5 inch side. Oops, put that in wrong. There. So take that, put your 2.5 inch in, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch. And fold and burnish that. Now what we're making is a little pocket that has a attachment hinge on the bottom but not on the sides. So we're going to take our scissors and do a slight miter cut right here from the score line into the hinge. Okay, then we're going to take our 1 inch or whatever size circle punch you want to use, and I'm just eyeballing it right in the center, and I'm going to do a thumb notch. Okay, now then we're taking our book and we're going to take the front of this page, and this pocket should fit right here on the right hand side of the front of page set 2. So we still see our hinge here in the middle. So I'm going to put glue on each end. And then I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to put glue on the back side of the hinge. We're going to take this page here. We're just going to put this pocket right up against the folded bottom edge of the pocket, right along the cut edge of our page. And then burnish that on both ends and across the bottom. So that gives us a little vertical pocket right here. And just make sure you burnish that really well. I'm going to open it up so I can get it nice and flat in there and get it burnished. Okay, so that's a pocket on the front side of page set 2. So then when we flip it, you have the part here that doesn't have a hinge, and then we're ready to put something here on the back side of page set 2. Next, take this remaining piece, so you have the wider section here and this short piece left here where the fold is. We're going to take this, we're going to cut this down so that we have the 4.5 inch, 4.25 inch section remaining. So I'm going to put this at 4.25. I'm going to cut it. It should be cutting away my fold or my score line and leaving me with a short piece that I'll set aside. Now, if I still see a little bit of that score line left, I'm going to scoot it over just a smidge and slice a little bit more of it off. Okay. Now then we take our scoreboard and we're going to score the 5.5 inch side at 2 1/4. So again, if you're using your bigger scoreboard, just to make so you're not confused, put your 5 1/2 inch at the top, score at 2 1/4. What we're doing is we're going to create a little double pocket here. So go ahead and fold that bottom one up, that score line up, and burnish that. So you see you have two pieces like this. Now we're going to do our thumb notch punch in the center. So I'm going to do the bottom one first, or the short one first. I'm just eyeballing it in the center. And then I'm going to line this up again, and then I'm going to just back it up and punch. So we have two double notches. They're pretty close. A little bit off there, but that'll be fine. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to glue first these two short edges to seal off the pocket here. And then fold that down onto itself. Burnish. Wipe off any glue there. So that seals that up, that little pocket up there, right there. And then this one, it's gonna go, everything closed up on me, right here on the back side of page set 2. So you have the you have a pocket here, you have the single fold here, then we have this second hinge section here. This is going to go right in here, and it should fit to the side of the fold here, so it's not in the gusset. So I'm just going to put my glue on the back side, on each side, and across the bottom. Line this up, make sure the pocket edge, the left edge of the pocket, lines up with the page here and on the bottom, and then go ahead and burnish that in. Open this up so I can burnish it down on the table. So we will of course add pattern paper to this. So what we have is a pocket here and a pocket here, and that is page set 2. So now we're ready to do what we need on this side here. For page set 3, we're going to repeat what we did here on page set 1, making the flat. We're going to take another card base that's still opened up. Got the score line right there in the middle. We're going to leave it opened up so that you have your 8 1/2 inch side here. We're going to take our trimmer, and we're going to trim it down to 7 3/4 inches. So we're cutting down the 8 1/2 inch length to 7 3/4. Okay. I got that. I'll save that over there. So we have it looking like that, 7 3/4. Now we're going to score on the 7 3/4 side. We're going to score a 1/2 inch on the widest section here. So if you're using this trimmer, you would, let me put this down, I don't want to get cut. You would score this at a 1/2 inch here. Again, if you're using your bigger trimmer, scoreboard, you put your 7 3/4 in, score it a 1/2 inch on this left side. Okay, so we have that, creating a flap. We're going to burnish that. Both score lines, the one that was already made. Now this one is going to go on the left side of page set 3, on the front side of it, right across from these double pockets. So it's going to attach right there. Okay, put my glue on my 1/2 inch on the back side, line up the fold of the hinge to the front of page set 3, right there. And you're going to burnish that. Whoops. I say whoops because I kind of got it off on one side. Make sure it's even, top and bottom. Okay, and reburnish that. So you have just a few seconds that you can move that if you need to. So then this is going to fold up inside like that. So now we have the pockets here, and we have another flap section here. So I'm going to clip that with paper clip just to keep everything nice and neat. Okay, so this flips back. So then you have your single fold here. This is the back of page set 3. So that's what we're going to work on next. For the, for the page set 3's backside, sorry, I had to think there for a minute. For the backside of page set 3, we're going to do another fold out. So we do it the same way that we did for page set 1 again. So you take your card base, this is the last one, put the longest side in your trimmer, which is your 8.5 inch side, and you're going to trim it down to 7 3/4. So you'll have a piece again that is 7 3/4 by 5.5. Okay, and then we're going to score this again, the long side. And make sure it is your widest, your widest section here. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So all your fold outs are done the same. You have 3 of them and they're all done the same. So I'm going to burnish my score lines. And you can fold them in or fold them out, whichever way you want to do. And again, this one is going to attach to the, let me look at my notes, I don't want to mess up. So we're going to put this to the back of page set 3, yeah, where you have your attachment hinge. This is the back of page set 3. And I'm going to put it on, again, on the left side. Now this time I have it folding out, but you can also put it in just like the others. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to put glue on that 1/2 inch hinge. Okay, y'all, I am liking my glue nip here, the silicone top. So far, no explosions. So put this on the cut edge of the page, put the fold there, and just burnish that on. Make sure it's even top and bottom, and we burnish it. Open it up and burnish it in there. So just make sure all my glue is wiped off. And so there's that one. So you, like I said, you can fold it this way and have a little bit of that other one showing in there, or you can fold it inside like we did the others. I'm just going to clip it right quick to kind of keep it out of the way. So we have 1 page set left, and we're going to put a pocket right here. So let me get that cut, and we'll add that on. Okay, so to make the horizontal pocket for this last little page set here, page set 4, we're going to take this one scrap that we have left. This was the widest one, and it is 5.5 by 1 3/4, and we're going to trim this down first to 5 1/4. So you're just cutting off 1/4 inch there, and then we're going to take the trimmer, the scoreboard part, and you're going to score the 5 1/4 inch side. 5 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Okay, now this is going to make a pocket that has the deeper sides and a flat bottom. So go ahead and score those, or burnish those, I mean. Okay, so once you have burnished the sides, make sure you remember to, in the center, put your little thumb notch, if that's what you're wanting to do on yours. Just like that. And then this one goes on the bottom of the page. You want to make sure you put it here on the outer edge. And it comes over and it doesn't go into your hinge. So we're going to put the glue right here on the underside, the bottom. So that's the flat part on this one. Oops, right there. Just a line of glue. And then your hinge. So it makes it wider on the sides. It's because I'm making this out of the pieces that I have, and I didn't want a shorter pocket. I wanted longer, you know, this size. I didn't want it even shorter by doing a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So we burnished the bottom, and just make sure it's lined up there on the bottom and not going off, and then it's not into your hinge here, but make sure it goes to the side. Okay, and burnish. So you want your page to still fold up. Okay, so that's all the different elements in there. So the next thing we're going to do is add our different pattern paper. So you end up with, after the pocket, you end up with a flat hinge fold here. So that is our pages. We can add our pattern papers and stuff before we actually put it into our cover, which this is going to go in right in there. I have selected what I'm going to pattern each page with, trim down what I needed to. Like this is the one of the pieces for the card from the card kit. So I used all those. I used the My Colors paper that I had. This is like, was already this size. So I just clipped them in everywhere I wanted to put them. Some of them I've already glued down, like this one, to see how I liked it. Love that with the typewriter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed up the camera probably and glue all these down. Get these in. So just cut them to fit in the areas that you want. I made mine just almost, just slightly under the exact size. So like this would be just under 4 1/4 and just shy of 5 1/2, which is the size of the card base there. So anyway, so that's the pages like that. I've got them flipped together, ready to start gluing. Now then, you will notice this is kind of loosey-loosey here. So this is what's going to glue into the spine of the book. So I have taken, I think this is going to work, a scrap of the paper that I have. It's just under 1 1/2, and I cut it down to just slightly under 5 1/2 so that it will fit here on these spines so that I can straighten them all up and glue this in to kind of stabilize that a little bit before it goes into the book. So I'm going to take my glue and put a good amount of glue here on this. Get this going. It's sitting a bit. There we go. So get all my glue out, rub it around. So the glue gives me a little bit of wiggle room to get this piece on there. So I've got a good amount of glue there. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on these spines just to make sure. Spines, yeah, spines, hinge, back of the hinges. Had to think a minute what I'm going to call these. So let's square them up. Stand your book up. Make sure they're all nice and flat and even. And take this piece, and I'm just going to lay it over those so it's not sticking out anywhere. Maybe slide it down this way just a smidge. There we go. So you see I don't have it all the way to the end. And right there. Make sure it's within the area here that I want it to be. So what that's going to do is going to make my spine, back of my hinges, all even. Now notice this one here, right here, is sticking out just a little bit. And I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of trim that little bit off. Because we're not going to see this once it's glued in the book. So even if it's crooked there, I'm fine with that. So there we go. Got that on. We burnished it good. I just used a piece of that My Colors. So now when we glue it in, we'll just be gluing this whole thing in. So I'm going to go ahead now and speed this up. Oh, first, let me show you this in the cover. I did take some scraps and I'm trimmed them down to about, well, they're not scraps. They're pieces from the punched out of the card kit. This one's 4 inches. This one's 4. And then these were little scraps and pieces here. So I'm going to glue the smaller one in. Now I may make these like little belly bands, so I'm just going to put glue on the end of each of these. Smaller pieces. They can be different sizes, the same length, the 4-inch. I'm just going to center that like that. What I'm going to make is little pockets for the cover. So I'm going to glue this one on. Oh, yeah, I wanted to be belly band. Too much glue. Okay, hang on there. Wipe it off. It's not too late. Just glue on the end. Okay, a little glue on each end. Center that over this piece. This is a piece of My Colors red. Okay, then I'm just going to put glue on the short ends and across the bottom to make a little flat pocket, and I'm going to center it kind of up from the bottom, side to side, center it in this cover here. Just get it nice and straight. So this is going to make a little flat pocket once it dries. Okay, like that. It'll be open right in there, and then it has a little belly band if we want to use that. And then we'll do this one here on the other cover. Making sure I wasn't upside down. Here, the ends. Here's sticking out just a tiny bit, so trim that off. On the ends and across the bottom, paying no attention to the directions of my trees on that pattern paper. Okay, and then this one goes the same. Okay, center it. Okay, there we go. We got 2 little pockets on the inside of our cover. So just set that aside. I wanted to show you that real quick before I speed up the camera now and start doing all my gluing. And when I'm gluing, I'm going to open this up so it's nice and flat and I can get it in there better. Okay, so there we have all the pattern papers in our little book on our pages. Now, if you prefer, you can go ahead and we can put this in. So I think I'll go ahead and put it in my cover, and then I will add all my little embellishments here and decorating to finish it up. So this is going to fit right in here, and all three of those hinge backs are going to glue down into the spine. Okay, so we've got to make sure that they really stick. So we've got to get a good amount of glue on there and then really burnish them in. Now we want to make sure that they're centered top to bottom and side to side the best that we can, and pay attention, to the directions. Pockets down at the bottom, so I've got mine the right direction. I'm just kind of looking to see, and I'm going to use the glue because that gives me some wiggle room to kind of move things around. So I'm going to put quite a bit of glue here on all three of those little backs that we've already covered with this one cardstock. You want to make sure. And then we're going to make sure that we let it dry before we do anything. Now I need to make sure I'm going the right way. Pockets are here. Yep, that's the right direction. So I'm going to look here and center it. Kind of follow my stripes here. Turn it to the side. I've got too far up. Now then, it looks like about 1/4 of an inch from the top edge and the bottom edge, and then I make sure that I've got it straight as possible, dropping these down and taking a good look at my pages while I still have a chance with the glue. See, top and bottom. Okay, then when I'm happy, I'm going to reach in here and I'm going to burnish on each little hingey from the inside. There. Some glue may come out, so just wipe that off. Get those burnished in really good. You want it down in there. I have a lot of glue in there, so I can have some coming out. And I'm going to go to this one and burnish it. So you want them sitting in there really flat. Burnish. Okay. So I'm going to let them just sit down in there like this, and I'm going to let them dry. Press down in there really good. And actually, I'm just going to hold it, especially this center one. We need to make sure it really attaches in. Okay, so we're going to let this dry before we start working on anything. Okay, so I'm ready to put some decorating elements in the little album. I have spread out all the embellishments that come in the card kit. We have a lot that you can use. You'll be able to decorate it however you want. It's not going to be step by step of me decorating. I'm going to probably speed up the camera. You can watch the process if you want to. You can skip to the end to see the finished album. What I did do is I gently lifted up these little pockets because I forgot. I wanted a little notch in each one. So I did that. So I did that with the, what is this? The 1-inch circle punch, and then glued them back down. So I'm going to glue this holly and jolly here at the bottom. Kind of hide some of my, where I lifted it up. Anyway, I'm going to glue this on the bottom here, just below that little belly band part there. So like that, okay. And then I have this little chipboard of a piece of holly, and I'm going to glue that right there on that bottom corner. So this is, I'm just going to be going through everything and gluing different things in and making little booklets and stuff. So this is a little booklet. I just took a scrap of the My Colors. It was already cut down to about looks like 5.5 by 4, 3 7/8, folded in half, burnished it really well, rounded the corner. So now I have a little booklet that's going to slip in there, and I want to decorate it up. So I'll grab a scrap of this snowflake paper that I added in from my stash. You're not going to have it in a card kit. Remember, I added some papers in. I'm going to glue this on and then trim it down where it extends a little bit on the top. So this is just kind of how I do different decorating. Yours is going to be different from the stickers, depending on, you know, what you have. I mean, not stickers, but your scraps of paper. Okay, so like that. And then I'm going to re-round that corner. I'm going to trim it off where it's sticking out just a tiny bit. Scrap was just almost the perfect size. And take my corner rounder, 1/2 inch, so that I'm rounding where the patterned paper is. There, where it extends into that rounded corner. Okay, so there's that. Then you can add like another strip of scrap of paper. Maybe you might have, let's look and see what we have from our stash. Now this one's kind of different. I didn't see it anywhere else in the book. I'm just going to glue that on and then trim the bottom off. This was from the card elements that I punched out. Now another idea you might want to do, and I may do this on some of mine pages, is look at your card sheet or your instructions. This one's bigger. I just like looking at that. And you can see how the placement is of some things, and you might want to do some of that in there. So once this is attached, I'm just going to flip it over and trim that off. So there's that, and then I can put a little embellishment on there. Let's see how it looks in the little pocket. It's just going to stick in there like that. And we could put like maybe Mary Mary on there. It would be kind of cute. So I'm going to do that. I'll put that on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and just keep working on stuff. I do have one other booklet I want to show you right quick, though, that I did with scraps. It's going to go in this other pocket over here. So we have Mary right there. Okay, so when you flip this over, I took another scrap of this My Colors, and this one happened to be 7 7/8 by 3.5, and I just folded it. Just, you know, burnished that, which left me with this much left over, and I just folded that over and burnished that. So it's an offset flap, rounded the corner. So that's going to go right here inside this pocket. But I think I'm going to take some of this. This is green. It's kind of green on green. That's going to work. I'm going to take some of my jute string. I haven't used any yet that I got in my design team kit. I'll cut that off. But first, let's grab a piece of paper that I want to put on this. So let's look. Well, this could make another booklet. So this one I had, it is 5.5 by 3 3/4, thereabouts. So I had this left. I'm just going to fold it in half. So I'll just show you how to do that. You take a scrap of something and then fold it. You don't even have to use your scoreboard. And then take your, and this one had some on the bottom. I'm just going to trim this off a little bit. If you don't like what's on the bottom, just take your scissors and trim, and then corner around. So what this does, makes little booklets. So that can go in the belly band there, or it can go in this one. I'm going to put it in this one right here. But anyway, you can do that. And that says Holly Jolly, or you can just put an element like the bird. That's kind of thick. I don't want the chipboard on there. Let's find something. It's too big. How about this one? Something to just decorate it up like that. I'm going to do that on there. And I try not to spend too long deciding. Just, it's all going to go together. It's all going to look fabulous. Just go ahead and do it. If it fits, do it. So there's that little, like that. So that goes in there like that. And that little belly band. And then on this one, I wanted some paper here. Let's see here. You know, I'm thinking I'm making a sliding belly band if I can find a piece of paper that's wide enough. Gotta find that scrap. If I have anything. I don't see anything that's patterned paper that's wide enough except for the green stripe. But that'd probably be fine. Where'd my book go? Let's see. Fold it. Fold it. Okay. Even with the white on there, you don't have to cut that off. So this piece is 7 inches by 1. I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm going to do it solid on the back. Wrap this around, and you just glue it together. Put a little glue on the end that overlaps, like that. Put your glue there. Put it up here on the side. Bring it over and match it up. Glue that down like that. Now make sure it's not glued to your booklet so that it slides off. Okay, so that slides. And then we can put something right here in the center, because this is going to tuck into the pocket back here. Back in here, so this slides up. This goes in here. So, what could we put on there? Car's cute, but I might want that somewhere else. In the package. And we have Oh Joy. That's cute. Oh Joy. So I'm just going to put that right in the center. Some glue, kind of vertical direction, so that it just stays on the belly band part. Oh Joy. Now then here, slide this off. We could add some more patterned paper to this. I'm just gonna, yeah. This was cut good. Let me trim this off. Straighten it up some. Hopefully. Okay, so this piece is about 6 by 3. And it's going to go right here. I'm going to glue it right there. I'm going to round these 2 ends. Okay, so it's going to glue offset here. And then I will trim it off this back. So it's only going to go around the back. It's not going to go on the inner flap. So it's not long enough. Okay, so glue here. This is called just using your scraps, whatever you have. I'm not gluing all the way to the end because I'm going to cut that off. Add some glue. And then I'm going to match this up here. And then bring it around. And right here where it extends, that's where too much glue. I'm going to cut that off. I always have glue on my fingers. Cut this off. Don't cut the fold of your booklet, but cut off the patterned paper. So it's flush with it. You could use a craft knife if you wanted to. Once that dries, I'm going to cut off just a little more right there. Okay. So that folds in for pictures. Then you've got to refold this after it's burnished and everything. It's a patterned piece here. So burnish it really well and then refold and then burnish. Now, if it's pattern paper that kind of cracks, I'm okay with it looking a little jaggedy there or vintagey. You can sand it, you can ink it, whatever you want to do. So there's that like that. It's cute. It's So that one, left that one green. You could add, if you wanted to, another piece in here, just to make it kind of finished looking. I'm going to cut it off about, what did I say that was, 3? Let's use a ruler to be sure. So it's actually 3, yeah, it's 3 inches. So I'm going to cut this one down to 3. Using the trimmer so it's nice and straight. And this one we're just going to put right there. Line it up. So use just bits and pieces of paper to decorate things up. Make sure I'm lining it up kind of the same. About like that. Kind of centered it. So this comes around. Let's see, like this right here. I'm going to sand that off a little bit. If you didn't want to fold that, you could have just cut the pieces to fit. So that goes like that. We have our belly band that slides over it. Like this. Then that goes in the pocket. And then this goes in the belly band. Just like that. And they hold in nicely. It's not going to go anywhere. It's really tight in there. Like that. Okay, so that's how you can do some booklets and things in there. So this one here, I don't have anything in the belly band yet. Like, I might just put, no, that's got to stay in there. I might just put an image or something. Like, I like this. Let me just tuck that in. Just like that. So you can do stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to definitely speed up the camera now, decorate the pages, and then we'll add our closure to our cover, our ribbon, and then it'll be finished. And these are really quick and easy to make, I think. And I like how it turned out. It looks really nice and neat in there. Okay, so I'm going to get busy on this. Okay, so you just saw me in the speeded up version recolor my seam binding ribbon. So this is the ribbon I ordered from Country Craft Creations for this paper collection. It wasn't quite what I wanted. It would have worked. You can't tell in my camera, this is more of a lime green than the yellow. It's not yellow, so I know that looks kind of funky for a Christmas color, but trust me, it's lime green. It's just a shade lighter than this jute string here. So what I did was I ordered Kelly green. This is the Kelly green. And then I cut off what I wanted. And you saw me take this ink. This is Echo Lines. It's a watercolor, liquid watercolor. I have several different colors of that. And I like to use it to recolor some of my seam binding when I need it for a certain project. So I wanted to add some yellow. So this is the yellow color that I used. And I think it turned it more yellow green, more like the jute string there. So I think it's going to work. All my snowflakes are dried here on the cover. I think it's looking really, really cute. The insides are done, so I'm going to be sharing that with you in just a bit. But first, I want to put my seam binding on, because I should have put that on under the paper, and I didn't, so I goofed up. So I'm going to get it on there anyway. I think I'm going to like it a whole lot better. And so this, when you color your ribbon, it crinkles it up. Now you could take a little iron or press and straighten that out if you wanted it to, but I'm going to leave it crinkled, so I went ahead and crinkled the red as well, just with water. You take some water, spritz it on, and I use my heat gun to dry it real quick. I didn't do that on camera because it's really noisy. So anyway, I'm going to take some score tape. Got the 3/8 here. I think that'll work for what I want to do. And I think I'm going to put that right under the bow that's on Santa's hat. And I'm going to put my tape on first, and I'll probably put the green down first. I hope this turns out right. So here we go. So I have my tape, my score tape, and I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to put this, start it right up underneath the jute bow, and I'm going to come across, straight across my little decorative image. See if I've got it on straight. Bring it around the back. Okay. Bring it on over to this side here. Just get it on straight as I can. Take my stick. I call these my sticky scissors. I use them to cut the backs off of buttons, as you saw, and then also to cut score tape. Okay. So I'm going to take my bone folder. Got a mess here. I'm going to be cleaning this up in just a bit so I can showcase this album. So I'm going to burnish this down. And right here on the front so it sticks pretty good. Now let's do I'm going to do this one first. So I'm going to see how much I want to bring it around. Get a measurement here, because this will be flattened down. It won't be wrinkled on the cover. It'll just be more wrinkly where I tie it. So I'm going to bring it some more. Okay, let's see how much we got to tie with. Okay, I think that's about right. So I'm going to hold this with my fingers and thumb, and I'm going to just start pulling this tape backing off. And where I've got it with my thumb, that's where I'm going to place it down right there. And then I'm going to peel some of the backing off. And I'm going to, oops, don't want my jute string getting stuck in there. And I'm going to straighten this up some. You can pull this up once you've stuck it down. You're not committed 100% to it. So I'm going to pull this loose here now. Okay, so I'm going to get it on straight. or as straight as I can, right there. Now bring it around the back, the spine, and bring it around to the back side. Okay, right there. So that's on. So now I want the red on as well. So this is going to kind of hang down right there. Just making sure my jute's not in there. Okay. So now for the red one, let's match this up. Okay. So we need to put down some more score tape. So I'm just going to kind of lay this over it. Offset it just a little bit so it's down towards the bottom more. Like this. And like I said, it would have been much better or easier if I had put the ribbon on before I put my paper together. So on my other little album, I'm going to make like this, making the just chicken paper card kit. I hope I remember to do that. So let me get my, let's burnish the ribbon. I mean the tape, score tape. And then we'll take the backing off on this side, a little bit of it. Okay, so I need to get my ribbon measured out here. Just make it about the same. Okay, right there. Okay, take this one off and place the red one down. Okay, and the rest, and bring it around right to there. Okay, and burnish it on there. So there, we got that. Now then, I like to stretch this out a little bit, and I'm just going to tie these two together on the end. So they're always kind of secured together. And I'm just going to bring that knot down and then find my ribbon scissors. They cut so much better, and I try to keep them put away so I don't use it on anything else but ribbon. Sometimes I forget to bring it out. So let's tie this one to, okay, cut that thread off. Okay, so now we have them together. And then we're going to tie it in a bow here on the side. Just like that. Then I'm going to look at it and decide if I want to put something there, if I think that's going to hold okay, and right there. Because I don't want it pulling up any especially here on the back. So I'm going to cut this down. And I'm going to stub punch it if I can. There. Just kind of making a little placement piece. That didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. No, that doesn't work. So I got this green one here. maybe I just didn't put it in right. Let's try again. If you don't get it all the way in, it doesn't, that's better. I just had to flip it over, get it lined up in there correct. Okay, so there's that one. Let's see how that looks right there. Okay, so I guess we didn't punch right. Okay, let me try again. Get it completely in there. Okay, so I'm going to glue that on there. You start it again. There we go. Put plenty of glue on it. I'm just going to line this up over it. Just like that. So that's how I'm fixing it to, because I didn't have it underneath. And then right here on this side, I don't know if I have anything big enough that's decorative paper-wise that I could put there. Got that heart. I think I'm just going to try to leave it. I don't know if it's going to lay right or not. So let me play with this a little bit off camera. Okay, so what I did is I took a little scrap of this snowflake paper where I had a whole snowflake, and I just cut it down just to fit over the ribbon and really put a lot of glue on it and glued that over that to secure that ribbon right there on that edge. So that works for me. So this little album is finished. I'm going to clean all this up, and then in the next clip, I'll be showcasing this for you. Okay, so here it is, the little finished Christmas album for Christmas in July that I designed for Country Craft Creations using the Simple Stories simple card kit called Holiday Hellos and some My Colors cardstock from Country Craft Creations and a few papers from my stash. So this is the finished album. It measures 4.5 by 6. The pages inside are the A2 card size, so the card base makes your pages, so those are 4.25 by 5.5 inside. It has about 2.25 inches wide spine here. So what I have here is the seam binding ribbon from Country Craft Creations, closure tie, the jute button string from Country Craft Creations. These are all the embellishments from the card kit. I added in some buttons from Buttons Galore from Country Craft Creations. I did recolor them with my Copic markers, and I added the Echo Park in the flat enamel dots from Country Craft Creations. I love how it turned out. It looks really cute. Make it merry, ho, ho, ho. So there's your spine, and then there's your back where I've just made this little attachment for the ribbon. So you untie it, the double ribbons here in the 2 colors. Open it up. Inside here I put this little flat pocket. It's got a little booklet here that opens up for photos. We've got the cut apart here from the collection. Goes into the little belly band here, just right here on the front, just for decorative looks, and then that tucks in there. So here on the front, I took one of the pieces from the card kit, and I made a little hinge right here so that it opens up. Put a photo mat in here that just tucks underneath this little chipboard piece here, more of the embellishments from the card kit. So that's your first page, and then this opens up. Let's see here, right here. Got a little glue stick in there. So this is actually the card base, the first page set. It has the cards, My Colors cardstock in here for the mats of the pages. This is from the card kit. So this we added on. We used 4 of the card bases to make the cards, the pages, and then we used 4 to make the pockets and flaps and things. So this folds out. So I left these all without pattern paper in here so that you can utilize places for photos. And then this is a sheet from the card kit. I have a pocket here with some of the cut aparts from the card kits inside there. I love this make a list and checking it twice typewriter. Made a pocket here. This is another of your card bases here. So we have a tuck spot here with a photo mat. And I made a booklet under this tuck spot here. So this just opens up. And that slides right there underneath. And then we have a pocket, a double pocket here with this booklet. And then this tag from the card kit. So those just all slide in that double pocket. And then we have a flip out here. Use the stockings. These are the chipboard elements here. This all flips open like that so that you can, you know, just have places for photos. Whoops, let me make sure I stay in frame. So this flips open like that. Did I get out of frame on this double pocket here? So there it is. Double pocket, the bottom pocket, and then the tag up here. Tuck spot. This is just a photo mat. And this is a pocket with a little booklet. Well, not a pocket, it's a tuck spot. I turned it into a pocket there. So we got that. Then here we have a side pocket made from some of the papers, the punch outs from the kit. This is another booklet here out of some of the scraps of paper. Tucks in there, says cheers. And then this over here has some of the elements. So this just all tucks in like this. The little photo mat goes underneath here. Whoops, I forgot to take this label off. We've got to take that off. We don't need that. From the photo mat. So that slides in. Underneath all of this, where I just glued it on the top or the bottom so that it makes a tuck spot. And it's not necessarily a pocket, but just a tuck spot like that. And this flips open, but this has a belly band here. Mats. It's a lot of fun to make, and it's really easy. So this just flips out. And then we have a pocket here. Another little booklet from one of the pieces from the card kit. I just folded it. And then here we have another card base. This is another photo mat under here, under these chipboard pieces that I just attached here and here, and then on the bottom. So that makes a tuck spot there. And then we have a photo mat here. And a banner with a photo mat that tucks under there. And then the last inside of the cover, we have another belly band with a photo mat here. And this little belly band that slides off. And then you just open this all up. So that's another fun. I'll show you how to make that in the tutorial. So you've already seen all that if you watched the tutorial. If not, if you skip through to the showcase part here, then I invite you to go back and watch the tutorial if you're interested in learning how to make this. So that is my Christmas in July project that I've made for my YouTube channel. And it is a design team project for Country Craft Creations. Again, using the Simple Stories, Simple Cards, Card Kit Holiday Hellos from last year, still available, or it was when I did this tutorial at countrycraftcreations.com. So check it out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click the bell so you'll be notified of my next project, because I'll be making another one of these out of the other card kit called Just Chicken In. It's going to be a little summer farm one. And if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. And thanks so much, guys, for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.